Nissan's entry-level subcompact SUV is making a comeback for 2025, finally shedding its frumpy hand-me-downs to strut in a sleek new design. The new Kicks boasts some new styling, inside and out, updated tech to keep up with the market, and good quality ride over rough pavement. So let's look at 10 things you need to know before buying the 2025 Nissan Kicks. Coming out in 2025, the new Kick is a looker. Talk about a complete overhaul. Forget the awkward mismatched design from previous years and ride in confidence on the highway. So, where the old Kicks was kind of an assortment of styles, the 2025 model is sleek, modern, and totally cohesive. Nissan has shed that clunky, wedge-shaped front end and replaced it with a much bolder yet more refined design. And the rear? Much more streamlined and spacious, with an inch or two added to the dimensions in all the right places. More shoulder room, more knee room. Nissan's really gone all out with the little details too. Etched Kicks nameplates, interesting angles and shapes, and that rear quarter glass? Absolute eye candy. It's like they took an entry-level SUV and sprinkled in a little bit of premium magic. You know what they say? Out with the old, in with the new. And that definitely applies to the Kicks. They stepped it up under the hood. Gone is the anemic 1.6-liter four-cylinder from the previous model. In its place, you're getting a beefy 2.0-liter unit pumping out a healthy 141 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque. That's a solid 20 horsepower and 26 pound-feet bump, which should make a difference when you're merging onto the highway or tackling those hills. The power will flow through a trusty CVT transmission so that you can expect smooth, seamless acceleration. The new Kicks has added to the waistline. It's now 2.8 inches longer and 1.6 inches wider than the previous model. That may not sound like a huge difference, but it obviously translates to some much-needed extra space inside, both for passengers and all their stuff. After all, who doesn't love a little more legroom and cargo capacity? The infotainment options are stepping up, and they've given the whole cabin a fresh, updated look to match the sleek exterior design. This baby's all about clean horizontal lines and displays angled toward the driver for better visibility. They've swapped out the old dual-dial climate controls on the SR trim for a fancy haptic touch panel, a little high-tech flair to really drive home that modern premium feel. All-wheel drive is a must when the weather gets rough, and Nissan is stepping up its game with the new Kicks in that department. Get this. Every single trim level of the Kicks is now available with an optional intelligent all-wheel drive system. That means no matter which version you go for, you can get extra confidence and control when navigating tricky weather conditions or less than ideal road surfaces. The all-wheel drive equipped Kicks models come with a dedicated snow driving mode that's specifically tuned to handle slippery situations. We're talking advanced yaw control using targeted braking to keep you tracking true, even when you're carving through the white stuff. Looks like they've given the new Kicks a serious cargo space upgrade, but there's a bit of a trade-off if you go for that sweet all-wheel drive system. In the front-wheel drive models, there is a pretty impressive 29 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats. But if you opt for the all-wheel drive version, that number dips slightly to 24 cubic feet. It's still not bad, but you do lose a little bit of that cargo hauling capacity. Now, fold those rear seats down, and the difference becomes a bit more pronounced. The front-wheel drive Kicks offers a cavernous 59 cubic feet, while the all-wheel drive version checks in at 50 cubes. There's not a huge gap, but it's something to remember if you plan to carry bulky or oversized items. But here's the good news. Even with the standard front-wheel drive setup, Nissan stepped up the Kicks cargo capacity. We're talking 30 cubic feet behind the rear seats, up from a measly 25.3 in the previous model. And with the seats folded, you've got a whopping 60 cubic feet to play with, a solid upgrade over the old 53.1 cubes. Nissan says the new Kicks has the best-in-class rear opening, measuring a massive 40.3 inches, so loading up all that gear is going to be a breeze, no matter which version you choose. Nissan has really improved the suspension. We're talking 8.4 inches of ground clearance now. Remember when it was just 7 inches? Minor off-road adventures just got a whole lot easier, don't they? We also have the super comfy zero-gravity seats up front, which seems like they're rolling out the red carpet for everyone, front and back. It's like first-class comfort for the whole crew. Plus, the top SR trim is getting decked out with ProPilot lane keeping assist for the first time. Let's dive into the tech side of things with the kicks. Kicking things off, the base S model keeps it simple with a 7.0-inch color touchscreen. But if you're looking for more screen real estate, the SV and SR have got your back with a whopping 12.3-inch display. Plus, they're cutting the cord with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. How's that for stepping up their game? Now, about staying charged. The S model comes with a classic Type-A USB port. But if you're in the SV or SR, you're living in the future with a pair of USB-C ports. And for those chilling in the back of an SR, congrats, you've got your own pair of USB-C ports too. Sound-wise, the base setup includes a 4-speaker stereo with Bluetooth and an auxiliary input. Fancy a bit more? The SV throws in Sirius XM satellite radio, and the SR turns up the volume with 6 speakers. But for real music lovers, there's a 10-speaker Bose system waiting in the wings, complete with headrest-mounted speakers up front. The new Kicks is rolling out with Nissan Safety Shield 360 as standard their entire active driver assist tech arsenal. We're talking the works here. Automatic emergency braking that can spot pedestrians, blind spot monitoring with a heads up if something's crossing behind you, lane keeping to ensure you're not veering off course, automatic high beams for clear night driving, and even rear automatic braking for those tricky reverse maneuvers. For those who like to cruise with a bit more tech, Adaptive Cruise Control and ProPilot Assist are making their debut in the Kicks on the higher trims. Keep in mind that the previous generation has the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's Top Safety Pick Award in the bag, but that was before changing their testing regimen. Now, Nissan's aiming for the star, or well, for top honors and a leap from a 4-star to a 5-star overall safety rating from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Last time around, the Kicks was doing pretty well for itself, clocking in at 31 miles per gallon in the city and 36 on the highway. Not too shabby, eh? But with the latest model beefing up to around 3,000 pounds and sporting a larger gas tank, we're all wondering if it'll keep up those numbers. We have yet to get the exact miles per gallon details, especially since this new engine is stepping in. But let's take a guess, considering the old 1.6-liter engine was a bit of a gas sipper. Throwing in a more robust engine and possibly all-wheel drive into the mix, we're bound to see some shifts in those numbers. To help ease any potential miles per gallon blues, the new Kicks is getting a bigger tank. Instead of the 10.8-gallon tank now, front-wheel drive models will rock an 11.9-gallon tank. And if you opt for all-wheel drive, you're looking at a 12.4-gallon capacity. Word on the street is that the starting line is around $23,000, but it can stretch up to about $26,000 if you decide to splurge on trims and options. These numbers aren't set in stone yet, but we're all playing the waiting game until closer to its launch in the mid to late summer. Sure, there is a slight uptick in price, but Nissan seems keen on keeping the Kicks affordable. It's like they're threading that needle between giving us more bang for our buck while still holding onto that entry-level charm.